And we're back. So I'll skip the whole boring part. So I had taken the head off. I really don't remember if I'd shown you that. I took the head off just to make sure that there was not going to be any issues down in here, because now would be the time to find it. And yeah, there's really no way to take the head off without wrecking the head gasket. So the reason you haven't heard anything from this old geezer is we had to order in a head gasket, and the only place that I could get a head gasket without having to order the whole engine kit was down in the States from Ag Kits. Really good group. They got it shipped to me very quickly, even though we got held for ransom by UPS here in Canada. Lovely people. So yeah, the $50 gasket ended up costing $90 in postage for something that weighs as much as a deck of cards. Yeah, that bited. So yeah, I just cleaned up around the engine, doing all that good stuff, and checked the head over. These cups are all good. I just cleaned them out with brake cleaner, and then give them a little rinse down with gasoline just to make sure they're good. And then so I couldn't really put the injector liners in out of the engine because it's hard to press the liner in without it being fixed to something. So I figured I cleaned it out like yeah, you can't see anything, so it's cleaned and ready to go. So yeah, new gaskets on. So I'm just about to start putting the rack valve rods, the lifter rods. Why can't I think of the words? Anyway, you know, the big long skinny things that pushes the rockers to go up, and yeah, oh gosh, my brain's dust fried. Late nights, cows yelling, you get it. Anyway, so it's weird why that is. That's very weird. The valves are seated. That's the weird part, because I checked them over while the head was off. The valves are all perfectly sealed. Oh well. So yeah, I'm going to stick the rods in, then put the bolts in, and then because I'll need to have the rack back on to put all of the bolts in, because they're part of the bolt pattern. So once I get that on, then I can start putting the injectors and the liners back in. So I'll bring you back when I get to something a little bit more interesting than just sticking bolts and things. Nice rack, eh? Push rods. Push rods. So, I don't know how I managed to do this. I managed to get the rack up and out without taking this off, but to put it back in, yeah, I had to unbolt it. But you can tell where the guy that we bought this from, he was a bit of a mechanic. I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah, you can tell he's had a fight with it before, because that's exactly where the bolt got to. He pretty well just hammered it in. Yeah. Yeah, you can't do that. So I'm gonna leave it here for tonight. All of the lower bolts all went in great. All of the rack bolts seem to have resistance, so I'm thinking there was still a little bit of oil or something down in the block. So I've given them all like a 360 turn, and then left them and went and did something and come back and give them another turn. So I finally got them down to where they're seated but I'm not gonna torque anything tonight because I've heard of people cracking blocks doing that. So I'm gonna leave it like this, and this way it can bleed out any fluids or whatever was trapped in there. Like it did say in the instructions to lightly lube the threads. So I just have some hydraulic oil here, so I just dipped the end of the bolts in the hydraulic oil, turned it up and let the oil spin down, and then put them in. And like I said, they all went in great except for these top rack ones, so that makes me think there's a little bit of like the engine oil, because the engine oil that came out of this engine was bad, like tar bad, so that probably wasn't helping. But she'll have all new oil, and I'm waiting for filters to come in too. But starting to look like an engine again. So yeah, I'll start the torquing sequence, because you have to do 3 different. You do the first pattern twice, and then the third pattern's a different way. So figure that one. So once I get it torqued in, then I'm gonna push the injector tubes in, and then put all the injectors in. And I'm still trying to find what the torque setting is for the injector clamps, because that's pretty well what I figured out has gone wrong. Is these two either didn't get torqued in right, or they backed off at some point, and then he's tried to ram them back in, but you can't. You got to take it out and start again, because there was crud down in there where the tubes sit, and plus there was stuff already up inside the tube under the copper washer. So yeah, he just basically smashed these bolts down, and yeah, you're not going to get anywhere. So I'm going to do a last minute little blow and check of these before I put them in, but that'll be at a later date. So I'll bring you back. Off to bed. So there you go. Torque done. So as you can see, intake plenum manifold, whatever you call it, is in. Torque sequence is done. Yeah, so I'm gonna seat these. I've got them started, but I need to put them in properly. I'd thought about putting some JB Weld at the bottom, sort of a gasket, but like that's maybe just, if you're doing that, then you're in a whole other trouble. So yeah, we'll try and feed these in and see where we get to. Funny part, the yeah, so it's all there's the new dust shields, got all new hose, fresh. The injectors are fresh. There's all the old parts. So yeah, let's get these fired in. A little bit closer. Yeah, injectors are in. Leave the caps on till I put the lines on. So yeah, those those liners went in really slick. I actually just put the injectors into the liners and then just ran the clamps and the bolts in, wiggling it in, and yeah, they seated just perfectly. And they're supposed to be seated to 33 foot-pounds of torque. They might be closer to 40. But what I did realize was there's a rogue 6th bolt that's not a proper bolt, and I'm gonna have to look for another one, because I'm pretty sure this one is stretching, because it wouldn't click the torque. Oh my gosh, I must be breathing fumes or something. The torque gun, whatever it is. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get a proper bolt. I'm wondering if that's why we had issues over here. That bolt was probably over here at some point, and it's not strong enough. It's too elastic. So they're all in, and thanks, like I said, to Wayne at Wheat City Diesel for all your diesel engine needs. Yeah, nice, sexy looking braided fuel line. Giggity. So yeah, she is good to go. Let's all just bask in my OCD. Mint. Okay, that's the end of another night. Boom. Wow, it's like it's magic or something. Yeah. So these are these skinny weight saving, space saving, something or other, waste of time batteries. I don't know why they didn't just put one big one under here instead of two skinny ones, one either side. So they're bad, but they'll be fine, just enough to get the old slog all up and running. So everything is hooked up, brand new oil in the engine, enough fuel in there, sealed everything up, no leaks. So I've got a can of fuel in there, enough just to get us up and running. I've primed the filters. I'm just waiting till I have enough juice to get it turning over so I can bleed the injectors. So, for all intents and purposes, we should be good to go. Yeah, once everything is all made sure we're good, then I'm going to route these hoses because there's a shield to go back in here which this hose is held up on. And these, for the inside heater core, these will get put somewhere out of the way. It doesn't dangle like that, just angle of the dangle. So yeah, cleaned out the interior. That's what's left of the old interior mat, which is done. So right now, I'd just far rather have nothing in there. Oh yeah, and I got in here and all three bolts holding the lever block were completely out and down in amongst all the oily dirt and stuff, which is good because they captured the bolts and they didn't fall out somewhere gone forever. So yeah, the whole thing wasn't even attached. It was just flopping around like an old salamander. So that's all bolted back in. Couldn't find the knob for the end of the lever. So yeah, I'll have some gaps here and there to get filled in, but yeah, 2.5 vacuum cleaners full of crap came out of here. And yeah, I've been cleaning the windows. So yeah, once it's figured out, up and running, going, doing all the good stuff, then I'm going to bring in the body panels because they're outside in the back of one of the old trucks. And I'll get them cleaned up and bolted back on, and she should be good. So, gonna get her all charged up, and then we'll be good to have a spin of the key. It's getting really exciting. Okay, that's into the start position. Turn the key. Press the button. Tune in next week, where you'll find out if Piper Doug starts a tractor, or blows it up, or burns the whole damn shop down. So, hurry on back.